Welcome to Walking the Path podcast with Rogleio Diaz. And today we're going to be discussing going from darkness to light, the healing journey, the transformational journey, the spiritual journey, right? There's so many on the spiritual path walk, and it's inevitable once you awaken. But we all have different paths. We all have different journeys, and it's all unique. It's all so designed just for us, just for you. And sometimes we have a hard time believing that this is really for us, that this journey is really how it's supposed to happen. But I'm letting you know that when you walk your own path, there will be so much light to find. And it's going to be your light. You can see other people's light too, but it's going to be your light. But that it comes from that darkness. It comes from being transmuted from that pain, doing the shadow work, doing the inner work. Not suppressing what you've been trying to run from. And that's how the transformation occurs, through that experience. Maybe right now you're going through some challenging times and you don't know what to do. You're trying to figure it out. You have the same freaking patterns coming up over and over again, and you're trying to change, but for whatever reason, you just can't. There's always an excuse. Guys, you have to be able to look at yourself. And again, take it from somebody. Everything that I speak about, I've lived. Everything that I share about, I've lived. So again, take it from somebody who's been there. And to some extent, there's still things that we're always doing the work. There's a couple things that we can never escape from. Pain, consistent work, and change. There's always change. It's always occurring, right? It's inevitable. But when you're able to look at yourself, when you're able to see that this thing that you're avoiding, that these emotions that you're avoiding to feel are actually what's going to cause you to grow, what's going to cause you to let out more light. Kids are afraid of the dark, but many adults are afraid of their own light. And when you stop becoming afraid, when you stop being afraid of your own light, you're going to be able to see those shadows a little clearer. And you'll be able to sit with yourself. And you'll be able to love yourself that much more. But it takes work. That's really how the transmutation is done. Darkness to light. And it's not, there isn't even any darkness. Right? It just is. But you do that through letting it express itself. Why do you think when you cry you feel good? And did you know that 60% of what's actually in your tears is cortisol? Is stress being released, physically released from the body. That's also why you feel good. But you're told growing up, hey, don't cry, because other people feel uncomfortable, because they don't want to see you in pain for whatever reason, but it always has to do with them one way or another. Again, they feel uncomfortable. So when you're able to, and it's not, I don't even want to say invest in yourself, because there's other ways to do it. But when you're willing to invest in yourself, or when you're willing to ask yourself the right questions and go deeper into yourself, you really get to see what's going on. And it comes into your awareness. And these micro shifts in awareness tell you a lot about where you've been, where you're going, but most importantly, where you are. When you're able to look at yourself, you see where you are. And it's so easy to just observe your patterns. Observe these self-sabotaging rituals that we all have. But when you're able to observe them, you're also able to change them, because you're aware now. right? You're aware of what's happening. And these are real common obstacles when trying to transmute your darkness to light. Your paradigm, the old self doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to grow or expand. It wants to stay the same. And this is where will comes in. It's one of our superpowers. Will and imagination, as Bob Proctor says. You can utilize just those two abilities, gifts that we have. You'd be surprised what you can get done. You'd be surprised how much you can change yourself with just some will and imagination. Saying you're not going to tolerate this anymore. And yes, suffering is a part of it. Because if it doesn't get so bad that you can't stand another second in that reality, very little is going to change because it's tolerable. Because it's manageable. Right? It hurts, but not that bad. But when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, this is where we put our foot down. Right? Think about your first dark night of the soul when you first awakened. How much pain were you in? How much frustration did you have? Things had to get so damn chaotic for you to change. And it doesn't always have to be like that. But usually 9 out of 10 times it is. And when you realize that you have a choice now, you can start making some new choices. And just sit and express this darkness, this trauma, and do the work. You'll find more of your light. But until you're willing to do that, until you're willing to look at yourself, it could be years. It could be years of repeating the same cycles over and over again and calling that life. But you don't have to. You ask the right questions, you'll find out what's really going on. For example, there's something called the upper limit problem, right? Gay Hendricks talks about this. And he says how we all have this barrier to success. Everybody, it's different. Maybe it's a belief. Maybe it's just they're all connected, right? Maybe it's just a pattern. But it happens every single time you try to progress in life. Some people call it a thermostat regulator, right? You're at 75 degrees, you're trying to move to 80. This thermostat brings you right back down. This upper limit problem brings you right back down. And I remember I was doing sales calls at one point, right? For one of my really good friends. And I already had the sale closed. It was done. I just had to send an email finishing up, just sharing a couple more pieces of information of what she received for joining. And I remember I was sitting in this exact chair, in this office. And I'm typing, right? I'm typing the email to respond and share the information. And then this wave of anxiety comes in. I'm like, oh man, here we go. Here it is. My upper limit problem, right? My self-sabotage pattern was the fear of fucking it all up right before I'm about to do something good. And I know that's an inner child wound. I know there's many experiences where I've had that, where I've experienced that. I've experienced that with my mom, right? I'm a kid and I'm about to do something good. And then I do something silly or stupid. And now my parents are mad at me. Now I'm a bad son. Right? Now I ruined it. And that's also another common theme of, you can't get too happy because shit's going to go down. It's going to be stripped right away. You're going to mess it up, right? So that was my fear. That was that was a common reoccurring theme for me. Don't F this up. Don't F this up, Roy. You're right there. You're almost finished. And what helped me in that moment was doing what I just shared with you. I'm here, I'm sitting in the chair, and I feel this wave of anxiety, and I had to soothe myself. I had to say, all right, Roy, what's really going on? Literally parent myself. What's really going on, Roy? And I remember thinking, like, I'm afraid. Why are you afraid? Because I don't want to F this up. What happens if you F this up? Well, if I F this up, I'm a failure. I'm a loser. I can't get anything right. And that, I'm like, wow, okay, this is what's going on. We forget we have all this playing in the background, right? And I'm like, you can't get it wrong, Roy. I'm literally telling Roy, you're doing good. You can't get it wrong. You cannot get it wrong. You're doing your best. Right? You can't always be your best, but you can always bring your best. I'm like, okay. So I'm there. I'm like, literally, I have my hand on my heart. I'm like, hey, it's okay. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And just that, taking a couple breaths into the nose, out through the mouth. Like I was literally having to hold myself when this upper limit problem came up. But after that, I felt so light. I felt so good about myself. Like, hey, no, you're not a fuck up. Like, Roy, you got this. You know? And I feel like we, in our own way, we all have this pattern, this thing that always gets in the way of moving forward, of progressing. And it always comes in at what seems to be the worst time, right? And this is why I decided to transition from being a shadow work integration coach into a higher calling, embodiment guide as well. Because I know I can help people let go of that one thing, overcome that one thing that has been holding them back for years. That one thing held me back for years. Right before I'm about to leap, hold up. Where you going, Roy? This thing would come up. This thing would hold me down, keep me caged. I would keep myself caged. I would hold myself back. But I didn't know. And now I know. And I'm helping other people know. It's not, it wasn't getting the right program. It wasn't getting the right mentor. It was myself. It was looking at myself and being unaware of what habitual patterns were playing out in my life. Drinking, right? That was a way of self-sabotaging. Drinking every other day. Pass me that half a bottle of Bombay. Like that wasn't good. That wasn't something that was uplifting. It didn't raise my frequency. That didn't enhance my life. It did the exact opposite. But I wasn't willing to look at that darkness. I wasn't willing to sit with myself and do what I did that day. And telling myself, I'm being there for myself, letting myself know it's going to be all right. You have to be able to do the same for you. You have to. Because if you don't, this is how you end up 45, 50, trying to escape still. Right? Putting your pain in a substance. Because you don't know how to deal with it. Because you never dealt with it your whole life. And if you don't know how, then get a coach. Do something. Right? Something that can help you go deeper into yourself. Go deeper into your experiences and see what's going on. Because there's nothing wrong with you. Right? There's nothing wrong with you. It's just something happened to you. Something happened that caused you to store trauma, that caused you to store darkness, and you think it's a bad thing. You think it's, oh man, it's, some people call it demons. So demons are out to get me. Somebody put a spell on me, right? Somebody's doing voodoo on me. But what if it's just you? What if it's just you? Unhealed parts of you. Again, it's not even unhealed. There's gifts in those unhealed parts of you. A lot of people, including myself, that speak, that create content, that achieve much in life. And it's, again, not about achieving, but they do their mission. They do their calling. It started from pain. It literally started from pain. And I love what my buddy Robin, she used to be a part of one of my communities. My buddy Robin says, my pain is now my strength. Right? And that's how it starts. You know, many speakers, many people that have podcasts, they didn't feel heard as a kid. Maybe they were shy. They didn't feel like their truth mattered. So what are we doing now? Doing podcasts, speaking, coaching, right? Showing ourselves that our voice matters, that we matter. And that's okay. I'm not saying to be egotistical about it, but I'm saying our weakest points, our most challenging times, is what brought out our greatest gifts. Can you see that? Can you really see that? Can you see that you're a gift? Can you see the light in your darkness? Can you see how much love is in your darkness? Most people don't. Most people don't, but if you're seeing this, you have an opportunity to do so. You have an opportunity to change the way you view yourself. And if you change the way you view yourself, everything's going to change, right? Forget about your external circumstances, the people around you. That's secondary. It's primary. It's how you view yourself, right? And that's how we evolve. That's how we go through this healing journey. You go through these experiences, you heal, whether it's just you, whether you get some help, some support, and you realize who you really are. And once you realize who you really are, you're not a replica anymore. For a while I thought I knew who I was. I was just trying to be like everybody else, trying to fit in, right? Talking about empaths, talking about light workers, starseeds. I thought that was it. I was just trying to do what worked. That wasn't my light. That wasn't me. But once you realize who you are, wow, something's different about this guy. Something's different about you. It's not trying to be something you're not. You're actually stepping into your frequency and holding on to that. It's valuable. Your frequency is valuable. And you have to be very, very careful in regards to who influences that. Because I'm a big believer, right, in mentors and coaches. But you also have to be a believer in yourself and what you're capable of, and you trusting yourself. And knowing that your spirit has you no matter what. Right? You can't always just be giving your power away. Just observe. Just observe and be you. You be you, you're going to find your light. You're really going to find your light. And you start being an example for others. So you'll be able to lead yourself, right? From your light. Like you're a light in this. If you're watching this, you're a light in this world. There's a reason why you're watching it. It's not just by accident, But yeah. Just know that universe is going to find very creative ways to help you heal your light, or help you find your light to heal yourself in the way that's perfect for you. And you can trust that. You can really, really trust that, guys. But let me see if there's anything else I want to add before we finish up today. I want to share one more story. One more story about, I guess, trust, right? I guess trust. And going back to what I just said about the universe having its way of bringing out your light, bringing out your power. Sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes it's quick, it's fast, and it's uncomfortable. But the job gets done, right? A year ago, me and my girlfriend Serena were living in Flagstaff, Arizona. And we thought we had a couple more days before we were leaving, right? We were leaving to where we're at now in Austin, Texas. And we thought we had a couple more days before our lease ended. But one day, the same day that our lease ended that we didn't know about, I get a call. And this lady's saying, I'm out. This lady's saying that we have to go. That if we're not out by tomorrow morning, we're going to have to pay the next month's rent. And we freaked out. We really freaked out. We're like, what? How? I swear we both just, we called each other. Well, I called her after I got the call. I called Serena and we're like, I swear we had a couple more days. Nope. Sometimes even if you don't know, there's consequences. So I dropped whatever I was doing. We both did. Went to the apartment. And thank God, thank Spirit, we had our U-Haul truck. And that wasn't luck. That wasn't by chance. That was Spirit. That was Spirit, So we had that. We had the truck there. We had to hurry up and start packing. I took a freaking pre-workout just to get us through the night. Right? I took a pre-workout. And there we are packing. We're hurrying up. Hours are flying by. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. And, I barely even got a chance to eat. And by the time, we're going in and out of the apartment to the U-Haul, bringing our stuff out. By the time 12 o'clock hit, we were exhausted. Guys. It was like we got there at 6. We got back at 6, and it was like 4. That's like 6 hours of nonstop walking back and forth, packing, walking back and forth to the freaking U-Haul. And we were done. We were like, how are we gonna? And it was raining. It was pouring. It like we were literally getting soaked, coming in and out of the apartment. And we're like, how are we gonna do this? We're so exhausted. And we had to find a way. We had to dig so deep in ourselves because the universe said it's time. You gotta go. You gotta go. And this lady, she could have been nice about it. She probably, honestly, if she really wanted to, could have gave us another day. But people are not always nice, right? Leave it at that. And we got it done at, I think it was like 3 a.m. We finished at 3 a.m. It was raining, freaking exhausted. Definitely a night we will never ever forget. And we ended up going to this close nearby hotel. We're gonna try to drive to New Mexico because this set us behind schedule. We're gonna drive to New Mexico, Arizona, which was 4 hours away, but we were just so tired we couldn't. So we went to the closest hotel, spent the night there, and Serena got sick. She got sick because of the freaking rain. She woke up the next morning, and I couldn't drive. I couldn't do it all by myself, but. At least the next stop was 4 hours away, New Mexico, and we were just praying that Serena got better so we can switch on and off with the driving, right, of the U-Haul truck. And it was a huge learning moment for us, because when the universe wants you to move, it does what it has to do to get you out of that situation, out of that environment. Like, it's time. Even though you think, like, really, can I get another day here? Can it be a little less stressful? It was what it was. But it was an experience that, again, we'll never forget. And looking back now, it's like, how do you not trust that? How do you not trust that? Like, the way everything played out so synchronistically, you know, it's like we had to go. We had to go. And I got a new opportunity. There are these days within arriving in Austin, Texas that helped me grow tremendously. I was doing sales calls. So, yeah, guys, just wanted to share that with you. If you're going through something, maybe you're going through a move too. Maybe you're going through your own transition, an energetic move. Like, it doesn't have to be physical. Can you trust it? Can you trust what you don't understand in those moments? I hope you can. All right. Much love, guys. Thank you for being here, for listening. Thank you for spending your time with me, really. All right. Much love. Until next time. And again, I put up an episode every week on Saturday. If you're enjoying this, leave a comment, subscribe, share. Wherever you feel this can help, put it out there. Give back. Much love.